Daniel Howard dying and God Daniel Howard dying. This is the voice of the Patriot. And here we don't criticize, but if we must criticize, we'd only just criticize on one condition: to build and not to destroy. That is why we are in the service of God and country, as we say. It's the voice of the Patriot. And as usual, we have some really interesting stories we want to look at, and I need you to come along. Now, the very first story we are looking at is coming from Ghana Web, and it says, "We voted for you to bring the dollar down and not to catch people." Reverend Kojo Bempah punches Mahama over oral team. And I read, Kojo Bempah, senior pastor of Holy Hill Chapel, Assemblies of God, Ghana, has called on the new National Democratic Congress administration to focus on building the country rather than witch-hunting corrupt officials. According to him, if the new administration focuses on catching people for corrupt deeds, it won't solve the major problem of the populace, which is hunger. He called on the leadership led by President-elect John Mahama to focus on the economy and how to reduce the dollar rate to the Ghanaian cedi to relieve the citizens' burdens. His comment comes after President-elect John Mahama announced a preparatory team chaired by Member of Parliament for North Tongue, Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa, to set the pace for the implementation of his initiative, Operation Recover or Loot, aimed at retrieving state funds looted under the outgoing Akufo-Addo government. Now, speaking to his congregation on Sunday, December 22, 2024, he stated, "We voted them out because they wanted to make people poor. If the next government also tries it, I am not a politician or a member of any party, but anybody whose leadership does not end up with the well-being of the people would wake up and laugh at the wrong side of their mouth." He continued, "I have seen the new people also making let's catch people efforts. My friend, take your time. We didn't vote for you to be catching people." This man here is called Reverend Bempah, right? Reverend Kojo Bempah. Or is he an apostle? With all respect and honor, this man has prayed for me before. Yes. He has laid hands on me before. My brother, my sister, he prophesied to me before. But this man lacks common sense. He lacks what is called common sense. This is the second time I have to come down at this man for lack of common sense. Listen, you could be anointed. You could have the anointing of the Most High God, yet you don't have common sense. And Apostle Bempah is one of those. He and common sense are a Mississippi distance wide. Do you remember it was the same Apostle or Reverend Bempah who told us that when you are taking your tithes to the church, it doesn't matter how poor you are or who you meet on the street who is dying. Still take the money to the church and let whoever is on the way and needs your tithe to survive die. Do we all remember that? He said, take your tithe to the church. Do not stop by anybody who is sick and dying. Take the money to the church. Take the money to the church and forget about who is poor and who is whatever. Whatever it is, take the money to the church. We had the opportunity to talk about this. Now today, the same Reverend Kojo Bempah is here talking again. If I were a powerful member of the assembly of church, I will relegate this man to the background because his utterances don't make sense. And if these are the people who would stand in front of the congregation and preach to them, I wonder what common sense they're going to be giving to these people. Listen, one of the biggest problems we have in the nation politically is corruption. Corruption has robbed us of our happiness all these years. Corruption has killed many. If we were able to fight corruption even up to about 20 or 30%, this nation will not go begging anybody anymore. Corruption has been responsible for our suffering in this country. A lot of people die in the hospitals all because of corruption. A lot of our politicians are so stinking corrupt that they only, in fact, enrich themselves at the detriment of the poor citizenry. If we were able to fight corruption, my brother, my sister, the cedi will rise above the dollar. If we were able to fight corruption properly, our citizens will not revere the dollar and worship the dollar this much. If we were able to fight corruption, even to an extent, my brother, my sister, our nation will be a better nation. Employment will be all over the place. Look at the countries that have been able to fight corruption and compare them to these nations in Africa that are extremely corrupt. And all Bempah is saying is that, oh, you know what? We didn't vote you into power to go after corrupt officials. We want you to deal with the dollar. No common sense. I am so angry at the way this man talks. Who is in charge of this guy? Nobody can advise him and tell him that, hey, listen, man of God, you are not making sense. It looks like you have to go back and think properly before you talk. When the alabaster man, what is his name again? My brother, my sister. He is Prophet Odro. These are the people who are going around speaking common sense to their congregations. When they are speaking the Bible, they speak the Bible. And when they are speaking reality, they speak reality. And tell the people, hey, this is what is going on and it's bad. I wish A, B, C, D could be done. But with Reverend Bempah, common sense is not his friend. And I am sad. He's my bishop's very good friend. But my brother, it's all about the nation. If you don't have common sense, you don't have it. No matter how much anointing you have, there's no anointing for common sense. Common sense is inborn, and it can also be learned if you humble yourself. Reverend Bempah, please stop this nonsense. If you don't have anything sensible to say, please stick to the Bible and preach the tenets of the Bible and go away. I leave it here. Next thing I want to look at, my brother, my sister, is here, and also from Ghana where it says, bring back Alan Chemating, others. Let's re-energize the victory. And this is the NPP MP for where? My brother, my sister, he's talking. Anya so to his name is Adumaku Kisi. Dixon Adumaku Kisi. Now, Dixon Adumaku Kisi, the new Patriotic Party member of Parliament for Anyaso Utum constituency in the Greater Accra region, has called on the leadership of the party to work towards bringing back all backsliding members. According to him, after the party's historic defeat in the 2024 presidential and parliamentary elections, the NPP needs everyone to ensure that the party prepares ahead for the next elections. He specifically mentioned that Alan Kyerematen, a former member who contested the 2024 presidential election as an independent candidate, should be brought back, my brother, my sister, to join the party. Speaking in an interview on NEET FM on December 19, 2024, he called on the leadership to be humble in dealing with these individuals. And in his own words, he said, we have to do our work and see how we can bring the party back to power. But for now, we have to bring everybody on board, including those who went to form their own parties. Even those who went to form their party, we have to bring all of them back to the MPP to wage war against the NDC in the next election. If Alan had left with even 3 people, those souls are very important because of the situation we find ourselves in. I think this time around, we need all of them. Initially, we thought we were many, so we didn't need them. We have a calm. We have to calm down as a party, solve our initial matters and internal matters, and bring them back. Dr. Dixon Adumako Kisi is the MP for Anyaso Utum. My brother, my sister, much as what this man is saying makes a lot of sense, we need to go deeper into it. Listen, he is saying that a united front is better to bring the NPP back to power. I beg to differ, with all respect. Ghana is not all about the NPP. You can bring all your dead members back, including Edu Boahin. You can bring all your dead members back. This party will never, ever resurrect if you don't deal with the problems of the nation. Ghanaians voted you out not because you were not united, but because you were lousy and very incompetent and extremely arrogant. That's what sent you into opposition. It wasn't because of your unity or disunity. Ghanaians do not want to even hear about you again. At the time when we were talking to you and begging you to deal with the issues of the average Ghanaian, you arrogantly were going around ordering chiefs to stand up and give you a standing ovation. At the time we were warning you, please, the city is hemorrhaging. What did you tell us? You were so careless enough to tell us that, no, listen, man, it's all about the Ukrainian and the Russian war. COVID-19, you gave us 1 million answers why you were so impotent. My brother, you want to go and bring Alan Kyerematen, then what would you say to Kwame Nkrumah? You insulted Kwame Nkrumah. Nana Addo himself insulted Kwame Nkrumah. My brother, my sister, he brought on Napo to put the icing on the cake, insulted Kwame Nkrumah like a little, what would I say, boy. You are not thinking about appeasing the spirit of Kwame Nkrumah. You are thinking about bringing Alan Kyerematen back, somebody who could even get 1% of the votes. Alan's political career is dead and buried. Nobody can resurrect Alan Kyerematen. He is dead and gone. He will never return. It's finished. He was very arrogant and pompous. He sat down with Nana Akufo-Addo. They destroyed this economy. When they said there be Enyendru, he became angry and decided to leave. On that note, it was so terrible and unassuming of somebody who is a veteran politician. This is the guy you want to go and bring? Bring all your dead horses. Bring all your half-wits. Bring all your toast brains. My brother, my sister, none of them would help you. They are gone, dead and buried. They will never resurrect. You know what you need to do? Appease the spirit of Kwame Nkrumah. You know what you need to do? Go out there and apologize for your lousiness. The politician only apologizes when he's going for the election. Why is Baumia not going around commissioning more projects? Why is he not out there inaugurating more projects? They rushed the uncompleted projects so they could win votes. They didn't learn from Mohammed's mistakes. Today, you are talking about bringing Alan back. You are bringing who back? Eduboyin. This party will never resurrect until you apologize and you are able to stand firm and appease the spirit of the Otufo. Now the final thing I would like to look at, and my producer specifically told me, Blakk Rasta, you need to deal with this. We are auditing election 2024 results. NDC rigged, and this is Afenyo Markin talking. Who is he? Majority leader and member of parliament for Efutu constituency, Alexander Afenyo Markin. Alexander Afenyo Markin has accused the National Democratic Congress of rigging the 2024 general election. According to him, the rigging scheme of the NDC resulted in the opposition party winning the election by a significant margin, including in the parliamentary elections. We are auditing other constituencies. I know we have lost the elections, and I concede to that, but the magnitude we are seeing is not the reality. From the little I saw at the collation center, the NDC rigged us, he stated during an interview on Bempah FM. This guy here called Alexander Afenyo Markin. Alexander Afenyo Markin is a bad loser. Very bad loser. Overwhelmingly, you lost. You still came back with excuses because you are full of alibis. Ukraine war, Russian war, COVID-20, COVID-21, COVID-22. Now we are in COVID-24. You are still taking taxes for COVID. COVID that was COVID-19. You took COVID tax, COVID-20, COVID-21, 22, 23, 24. If you even had the chance, you would take COVID-25. You are not looking at that. They are only making excuse after excuse. Now you lost the elections. The first excuse they gave us was that, oh, their people did not vote. There was voter apathy. That was why the NDC won overwhelmingly. In other words, 2 boxers went into the ring and one decided not to throw blows and was beaten. Yes, we accept that we have lost, but it was not because we actually lost, but because we refused to fight. Such a diminutive-minded excuse. Such a comatose-minded excuse. What is this? Now, Afenyo Markin, whose party is still in power, said that the election was rigged. Are you blaming the EC or you are blaming the security forces? Who are you blaming? If your own EC will sit down and watch the elections to be rigged, then who are you? What are you talking about? It's a shame. I am shocked. You have your own referee sitting there. You have filled the courthouses with your own judges and lawyers. You sit down and then you tell us that the election was rigged. How was it rigged? that your own judges and lawyers and police and soldier and army and EC did not see. Now you have to go on and assume the position of the EC and go around trying to vet the election. I can tell you that this is recipe for disaster. There's going to be disaster. Reverend Isaac Owusu Bempah has prophesied that 7 of all the contended recoalition results will still be won by the NDC. Did you see that prophecy? I'm not going to go into it, but it suffices it to say it now, that is what he has said. My brother, as for Afenyo Markin, you are a bad loser. In fact, a very terrible loser. If this country goes into flames, we will look for you. I'm telling you. If this country goes into flames, we will look for you. We will look for the EC. We will look for all the people who have undermined the peace of this nation. It's sad. After a peaceful election, everything went on fine. Somebody says, oh, the EC did not do its work well. The security personnel did not do their work well. Oh, for that matter, we are now going to do the work well. And we'll make sure that the NDC that rigged, we will unrig the elections and make sure that we win. Does it make sense to you? Today, I don't have a good voice, so I don't want to truly go into this. I'll leave it here.